some fabrication on the 4K. So I'm going to point the camera down at the bench here and walk you through a couple of things that are going on. I'm actually working on the rear diff, so let me point this down so we can see what's going on. So here we have the old diff. This is an Audi 5000 exterior case that I hacked in a V8Q Torsen. So it's a 389 gear ratio, and the gear ratio on this car was always way off. I needed the 389 to match the newer transmission, the V6 transmission, but now I'm going to be moving to a built 01E transmission, which is 411 gearing, and this differential here, this is a B5 long nose diff, and you can see the difference. So if we can get this on camera here without looking at it. So, you know, this is a 5000 TQ short nose diff. This is a B5 long nose diff. This is a 411 gear ratio to match the transmission I have, and this also has a wave track limited slip diff in it. But the mounting points for everything is different on this. So I need to make some new mounts, and that's what we're going to work on today. Tilt this down a little more. So first thing to note is I needed to check that this is a 411, so I put a mark right here on the nose, and I have this guy right here, and you know, just to confirm that it is an LSD transmission. You'll see if I turn one cup, this cup moves as well. You know, it is a locking Torsen, so I can move them independently. But again, you move the crown, move the pinion, and both of the gears turn. And they turn in the same direction. So if I check my marks here, I'm going to get this right at the top. Put a mark on the snout here. And if I turn, it's 1, it's 2, it's 3, and that's 4, and a little bit, 411. So, as all the mounts are different, the first thing I got to do is, you know, I need this mount reproduced over here on the rear. So I have a piece of 1/4" plate, and I found my center line, and I already marked this up, but basically I'm going to cut this shape out of the plate, punch the holes in it for these 3 mounts. We'll get this plate mounted onto the diff, and then I'm going to take this bracket that I previously made, and hopefully I can cut this up, cut this flange off here at the right angle to get this bolt in the right place, which is 95 millimeters from this face out. And then I just take my square, mark my center height on my square, and that's how high it needs to be out here. So that's what we're going to work on. got our plate, take a quick look, make sure it looks okay. Oop, might be a little tall at that top edge there. I have to lose some of this corner. But now I want to transfer these 3 holes, and I'll do that with a tape template. Just going to stick tape, make sure it's flush to the table. Overlap it. Okay, so now you can literally rub those marks into here for the hell of it. Eyeball the center, and I want to make sure I get this outside edge here as a reference, this outside edge here as a reference, and a reference on the top of this hole. Now, I'm just going to go here like this. So now I peel this off of here, and I stick it on here, and I center it, and I make sure it's flush at the bottom. Like so. Then I need a punch. Center punch the holes. I've got my 3 center marks transferred. Leave this over here in case I need it again. Now I've got to drill some holes the right size for some M10 bolts. I might as well steal them. Hey, all right. Right. For now. There. Come off. So now the question is, can I use this and reuse this to get me where I want to be height-wise here? Or am I better off to be 95 on the back of the housing? Oh, looks like I gotta make new. Shame. Oops. Alright, so I'm gonna make a new version of this. I want to make sure I got good access to this bolt. So this has to go basically that high. So I can't reuse this because I'd have to cut an angle here and then extend it. So effectively, you know, this is my mount plate here. The two bolt holes. And I need my hole here to be 95 out. What is this height? 110 this way. So I'm going to end up, you know, with a bushing diameter around 45. And then this is going to have to come out kind of upwards like that. You know, the whole thing's got to get kicked up. That's what I got to make. Now we've got our dimensional information. Next step is to make a cardboard template. And I have a lot of these kicking around. I actually bought some old filing cabinets which I use for tool and material storage, and I have thousands of these manila folders which are basically perfect for this, and they're especially good because of this crease here, because what I can do is I can make two at the same time. So what we need to know is we need our center line. We know that is 55 external. We know our center line is here. So actually what I might do is pull this off, drop a center line on it. Just right in line with the center of this hole. Let me scribe that. So we got our center line, and then we know this guy has to end up at 55 millimeters wide. So that's 27 and a half. So here's one side, here's the other. Looks pretty good. So if we were to say, okay, the height of this hole is pretty close to 90. I want to keep these at 80 to the top. So we know that this here now is going to be 80 millimeters. You'll notice I switch between millimeters and inches. Grew up in the UK. Okay, we know the height of our hole. Well, we know this dimension here is 95. We can square a line off at 95. And we know this height is 110. So in theory, that's the center of our hole right there. This is our bracket height. Now, I need to figure out what diameter I want to make that. And that means, you know, for this I just used a piece of pipe. You know, you can see if I put this bolt in here, you know, this isn't solid, doesn't really need to be. Because this is a race car, everything is just hard mounted. Take all of the slop out of the driveline. It does make it noisy in the car, but it's a race car, so who cares? So I need to pick a diameter for this, and let's see what roughly this guy was. It's about 50. We'll see if I can find some pipe that's 50 mil. I think. Yep, 45. 22 and a half either side, approximately. Something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Take this off-cut roll cage tube. Get it in about the right place. Trace around it. And then just go tangent on our 80. Oh, that didn't work very well. Tangent, and then tangent on this. That, in theory, is what we need. A bracket. Just go back on. Now, see if this looks about right. Checking the height of the hole. Perfect. And I'll still be able to reach in here to get this. So now I'm going to make some of these in metal. Alright, not quite done cleaning them up yet, but getting close enough. Next step, I want to drill a hole in them. stay right in the middle. Woo, that's hot. All right, now we'll let those cool for a little bit. There we go. Got some holes in them. Still got some more cleanup to do, but let's see how we look. Right on the money. Right. And 95. That mark. A little long. Makes sense. Shorten them up a little bit. So now I've got a hole in there. Short one of those, all together. See what we got. Good. Right width. And the lines. Still going to wrench onto that. Just check the height. Good. So it looks pretty good. Scoot up just a little bit. Yeah, not bad. So I can clean this up. I can weld this now. Get the mill scale off here, weld that onto there, and we're getting close. So now I'm pretty much there. With this, the next step is to prep for weld on this guy and this guy, which means V'ing the edges, getting all of the mill scale off where the welds are, and that's what's going to happen next. So let's take this plate off. And you gotta take the mill scale up here. You got a V around here, and I got a V both these bottom edges. So let's make that happen. Right. Out of the way. So this goes like this. Means this goes like this. So I want to weld this first, then I'll weld it to there. I'll just use one of these little clamps to position it when I'm ready. But for now, I got to tighten this up, get everything aligned, just how it should be. I could do this with the TIG, but I'm not gonna. Do it with the MIG. Right, so nothing fancy here. Little MIG welding. We'll weld this. I'm going to fuck with that a little bit. Things nice and true. I'm going to start just by tacking it. Yeah, yes. Gas stops play. You might be TIG welding it. We might have to TIG weld it. So I ran out of shielding gas for the MIG. I could swap over the argon tank from the TIG, but I think I'm just going to hold off on this welding. I am going to do a little bit more cleanup on these parts. And I'm going to use this. I don't know if you guys have seen one of these tools before, but this thing's pretty neat. It's basically a high-speed router with a steel cutting indexable carbide. I'm going to chamfer the edges on this so it seems nice. You'll see I got my welding jacket on because this thing makes the sharpest little things you've ever seen. I don't want to be taking those home onto the couch. So gloves, welding jacket, face shield. This thing is also incredibly loud, so I'm going to put my air defense on. I'm going to clean these plates up, and then we'll probably going to call it a day on this project. There's my air defenders. Good. Now, I did have to do a repair on this. This little bearing, it's got a little roller bearing on the tip. I lent it to some friends and the roller bearing let go. I found another little roller bearing, put it on. We'll see if it lasts. Here we go. Oh. So if you can see, there's this really nice little beveled edge. I'm going to do both sides. I'm going to do all around those. There we go. Nice, clean, cut, deburred edges. Very nice. Take this back apart. Get that off first. No power for you. I already did this on the lathe. Again, just does a real nice job. You can also do these holes in here. Let's see if we can give you a bit of a closer look. It does a really nice job. Quick, easy. The only downside is it's loud. You wouldn't want to be having this in a production shop all day, every day. But just does a really nice job of creating nice edge. You know, so when this is all welded, it's in the car, just a little bit more finished, a bit more finished of a product. Clean this up real quick. And I can put it back together, and then I'll get some gas tomorrow. And put this thing together. Now you can see where I put a big bevel on the inside of this, so I can get a nice flat flush finish weld here around the outside. No need for that on the inside. Now these edges are all nice and beveled. I did put a decent sized bevel on here so I can get a good deep weld onto that and that. Now wait till tomorrow. Time to find something else to work on. Unfortunately, after running out of MIG gas, I got some more MIG gas, and didn't realize the battery in the camera had died. So I welded this, haven't cleaned anything up yet, cleaned up this edge. It's ready to test fit in the car. A little tricky as a one-man job. You can find a longer bolt than this. So the original Diff, get in and focus. The original Diff I had mounted with 2 arms on the side and this bracket on the back. These long nose Diffs are different. It has bracket holes on this side here. There are none here. It's really designed to be mounted on the snub up here. So I'm going to hang it in the car just with this rear main hanger. Put a jack under the front. We'll see where this ends up, and we'll figure out a mounting up front for this. I may put a torque arm on this side. Probably won't need it, but we'll see. Right now I've got to find a longer bolt. All right, the setup. Nuts in one pocket, bolt in the other. I'm going to lift this up, get the nose on the stand, and the tail in here. Let's see if I've got any strength today. Oh, this way first. Yep, it's pretty heavy. Close. There we go. Putting up on there. See how ugly this is going to be for mounting. All right, it's in there. Got some adjustment fore and aft because the rear mount has a slot in it. One needs to live up front, and this will need to be pretty much as high as it can go. Get the diff level. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. Now, oh, that sucks for my exhaust though. Maybe I have to convert this to short nose. I'd like to run it long nose. That really fucks up my exhaust plumbing here. You could not as high as that. So that's not bad. This. Make it lucky. no, I can make that work. Just gonna have to recut these a little more angled, but no, it'll work. They're close to the CD on the prop shaft, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah, that'll work. Then the question is, how do I mount it at the front? Actually not that bad. I could just make a U bracket right up to the floor here. I can't reach forward because the exhaust is in the way, but probably make a U-shaped bracket there. Hold the nose, and then this I can make a bracket, no problem. Go to here for the torque arm. And we should be golden. And this bracket won't get used. I suppose the other option I have is I could come off these two bolts here and this here, and I could mount it both sides here. Just leave the nose loose. Yeah. Now I'm gonna make a bracket here off the floor that bolts to the top and then has a bolt plane across the bottom. That'll work just fine. I'm going to be cutting out all of the trunk floor back here, put a real fuel cell in this thing. That gives me any options. Yeah, that'll work. Minimal changes. All right, I'm happy. Next up, the nose bracket. Probably a heat shield coming off that nose bracket to protect this CD from the exhaust from the prop shaft. And the prop shaft will be a one piece now, so I won't be using these for the center carrier anymore. It's going to be just a little short single piece drive shaft now. Alright, next job, make a diff nose bracket. Probably rework this. There's a little step in the floor here that I think I'll rework to give myself just a little more breathing space. I'll lift that up a little higher. I'm going to have to take some measurements and make sure I get my drive shaft angles right. No, that should work. Yay! Next step.